If you ever wanted to see what it looks like for an Asian forest scorpion to dig, well, now's your chance. Because this one, and I'm sorry about the red lights, but this one's starting to dig a new burrow, although maybe it's because I'm now shining a light on it, it's stopped digging. Now I'm starting to regret turning on the flash for this video, but as you can see, this Asian forest scorpion is starting to dig down, and unfortunately, because I did a terrible job with my separation of the substrate and everything, you can actually see a bit of the mesh that I used. And now this guy's probably trying to dig past the mesh. Oh. See, he's digging. Or she. I don't know if it's a he or she. But she's digging. As far as I know, I've only seen parts of a molt. So I think she's only molted once in my care. And, we should probably feed her next week. Because, yeah, she can definitely do to be fattened up a bit more. But as you can see, she's doing very well. And she's digging down quite well. It's been a while since I last put out a video. And I don't know why. I just kind of felt like putting out a video right now. And I'm sorry if I'm playing a video in the background. Right here, I'm sorry about the quality of the visual. I haven't cleaned this enclosure in a while, but this one's empty right now because this used to be my hissing roaches enclosure, but I just moved them into a bigger bin today. So yeah, and I might show that bin in another video. It's been a while since I last recorded and uploaded anything, so I don't know. And here we have the enclosure of my Ephebopus murinus, my skeleton-like tarantula, who I don't see out, but it's created a very nice, and I'm sorry about the glare, it's created very nice funnel-shaped webbing, which looks beautiful. And then up here on this shelf, there's a bunch of empty containers in the background. Just ignore those. But these 4 containers here in the foreground contain a Hapalopus species Columbia large, the pumpkin patch tarantula. Although this one has molted several times, it is still incredibly tiny. So I don't know if it's a male or if it's a female because it's growing so slowly. But I mean, maybe because it's molting so much, it might be a male. Anyways, over here we have a Nishinicola. I don't know if you can see that label very well because it's kind of on its side, or it's kind of turned. It's Nishinicola species Panama. I forget what it was called. It's like the fucking goddamn, I can't remember. It's a dwarf species that's relatively new to the hobby of tarantula keeping, and it's like the gold-banded starburst or something like that. Gold-banded starburst, tarantula. It's a new world, so it's not, it's not like the gold-banded baboon. Anyways, over here we have a Nhandu chromatus, the Brazilian red and white striped knee, and then over here we have the Bonatina minix, which is also a fairly new species to the hobby that I got as a mystery spider, and my niece got this one as a mystery spider, and this one's my niece's, this one's also my niece's. This is mine, this is mine. So I'm kind of just like keeping some of hers, to take care of them. I'm also keeping her in this container. I don't know if we can see her down there. No, she's not at her window. But this is the Cyropagophus minix, the Thailand black, essentially. And in these 2 containers, I have my Hapalopus species Columbia large. So I have 3 Hapalopus species Columbia large. One that's in this container, and it's super tiny. And then these 2 in these containers, and they're actually a decent size. to be honest. And now coming up here, I have my newly discovered, god damn, that glare is terrible. I have my newly discovered mature male Aphonopelma mani, and my niece has a mature female Aphonopelma mani, which means I can do breeding! Hooray! And I apologize for the quality and the glare. And then in here, I have my Poecilotheria vittata, and it's actually out and about. No, don't run away. Oh, don't run away. This is my Poecilotheria vittata, my ghost ornamental tarantula, and in the container behind it is my springtails, though they're not doing too well. But yes, look at this beaut. Look at this beauty. Looking very nice. And then over here, we have the water dish filler herself, Talitocatl ablepilosum, the curly hair tarantula. And I set her enclosure up pretty nicely so that I can have a good window side view, although I do kind of worry about this big rock being in here, but I set it up in such a way that it won't collapse from her weight or anything like that, and it creates a perfect window, along with 2 pieces of cork bark that also create a window. And I think it looks very nice. She's taking quite fondly to it as her go-to hide, and she actually, if it is a she, tends to hang out in the open quite often, and as you can see, is not very, light sensitive. Up here, we have my freshly molted Chromatopelma cyanopubescens, or in other words, the green bottle blue. Sorry about the camera quality again. It's hard to get a good view, but you can actually kind of see that nice, here, let me try and get the light on it better, that nice blue coloration in the legs. And then up here, I see it out in the open over here. Can't really get a good view, but this is my OBT on top of my green bottle blues enclosure. I really love the webbing on this. Over here, the one that never comes out from down in basically, this is my tiger centipedes enclosure. I can't remember its actual scientific name, but it's on the label. But basically, this one is always buried, and it never comes up to the surface, ever. And then up here is my Grammostola pulchripes, which for some reason has not eaten its mealworm, and is underneath its cork bark hide. And it's finally starting to develop those yellow lines in its legs, which makes me happy because at first I thought I had been given an incorrect species or mislabeled species. And then over here is also my niece's green bottle blue tarantula. And then finally, to conclude, actually not conclude, but over here is my Ceratogyrus darlingi. Now this one, it's changed the structure of its enclosure quite nicely. I gave it a lot of substrate because I heard they were fossorial, but this one is very interesting because at first it did dig very nice, neat, straight down funnel-like webs with lots of webbing near the top, but now it's like it's filled out those tunnels and just purely webbed on the top, and it just stays on the top most of the time. And the webbing is super thick and webbed to the lid, so it makes feeding difficult. But I love it. It's developing nicely, and I can't wait until it starts to grow its horn. Over here, hello Culver and Meowth. Over here, I have my Avicularia, my first tarantula ever. Normally, she's in one of her tunnels. As you can see, she's made a beautiful funnel-like web in this container. But as of right now, she's over here on the side, exploring around and kind of expanding her web funnel. It's actually very impressive. It's very impressive. And yes, her name is Morgana, based off of a character from Shin Megami Tensei Persona 5. over here. Now, let me pause this video. Oh, what's with that flashing? What the hell? What is going on? Why is that flashing? Is my phone dying? No way, I just charged it. Hey, why are you flashing? I apologize. I'll end this video in a second. Oh, see, it stopped flashing. What the hell? What is going on? Now, earlier, I saw this one just poking its legs out. Now I don't see it at all. But this is the enclosure of my featherleg baboon. And essentially, it just dug a tunnel at the base of this cork bark and mostly spends its time down there in the tunnel. And it hardly ever comes out. Unfortunately, it barely ever shows up. It just mainly stays down under the ground. So I guess I should have given it more substrate instead of less, because I heard that this was an arboreal species. And then over here I have my confirmed female Ephebopus automon, who I'm having trouble with because she is not eating properly. And I don't know, her abdomen is smaller than what I would like. But, now that I'm getting a look, I'm sorry for the video quality for those who can't understand, but around her spinnerets it looks sort of strange. I don't, I wish I could get a better quality camera than this phone's camera, which sucks ass, but around her spinnerets, it kind of looks weird. It sort of looks strange, but I don't know, maybe it's supposed to look like that. I'll eventually try and get a better video of it. This girl has not been eating, and she's been stress curling a lot, and she's been death curling as well. And I've given her water, and she's looking a lot better now. In fact, she's looking very well. Alright, so I'm probably going to just end this video now. Let's see if I can see my pet ball python, Conqueror, who is over in his container. But, no, he's not out and about. Usually he's underneath his water dish. I'm trying to get more... God, I really need to clean his glass. I really need to clean the glass of this container. But basically, I need to give him more... I need to give him, first of all, a better hide. And second of all, I need to give him more, coverage, more leafage, more, artificial plants for him to slither around in and hide in and climb on and so on and so forth. Stuff like that. So, yeah. And I also plan on doing the same for my larger female adult ball python over here. This guy's just a little baby. Of course, you can't really see him, but yeah, he's a baby, trust me. But he's grown quite considerably since I first got him. Now, to conclude this video, the last two spooters that I am keeping here in my house is a Theraphosa stearmi and a Omothemis velociops, the Singapore blue. The Theraphosa stearmi is the Burgundy Goliath bird eater. And I have that one out in a very large, clear plastic tote, and it's actually very nice. I gave it a lot of substrate, I gave it a lot of substrate despite the fact that it's terrestrial and not fossorial, but I dug a very deep burrow for her, about a foot or two deep, and she tends to love it. She tends to stay in that burrow most of the time, and she just lay down a web carpet in front of the burrow, and that's it. Sometimes she comes out to chill, sometimes she doesn't, but I was able to confirm through a molt that my Theraphosa stearmi is also a female, and so I have 2 female tarantulas and 1 male, and the rest are unsexed as of yet, which I'm working on, but most of them make it difficult as they tend to destroy their molts. But of course, now I know that my Costa Rican striped knee is a male, because I can clearly see tibial hooks and emboli on it, which is great because now I can finally do what I've always dreamed of doing and try and do a breeding project. My Singapore Blue is doing good as well. It's in its own enclosure, although it has some nasty mold growing on it. But I just added some substrate from the hissing roaches enclosure, which was just filled with springtails. So hopefully those springtails will do their job in the Singapore Blues enclosure and devour all of that. Decay, waste, the mold, the fungus, everything, yeah. All the degrading plant matter in there. And then down underneath my snake's enclosure, in this tote, this blue plastic tote, is my colony of dubia roaches. So I have a colony of dubia roaches, and like I said, I have a colony of hissing roaches, but it's out in the living room, and I'm not going to leave my room right now. I'm going to end this video here in just a minute. And I also have a colony of superworms, and I plan on starting a colony of mealworms, and therefore I am basically becoming self-sustaining to the point where I used to have to go to the pet store every 2 weeks or so on my days off. Because I get every 2 weeks or so I get paid, and then on my days off I will usually go to the pet store and buy feeders for my my spooters and everything. But now I don't have to worry so much about that because I have a decent, if not large-sized colony of dubias now going, and they're thriving. They're doing very well, although I could probably do to get more females, since the males are starting to fight each other and bite each other's wings off and stuff. So I gotta definitely get a little bit more females to not only to increase the male to female ratio, but also to add new genes to the gene pool of the colony, because eventually the gene pool starts to taper off and they start to die off more and more, because that's the way genetics work. Now the hissing roach colony is still in its kind of infancy, where it's got about I would say about 20 to 30 hissing roaches now, it all varying in size from small little babies to medium-sized ones, as well as adults, because I started off with 4 adults, 2 males and 2 females, and now my colony has finally sufficiently grown. At first they wouldn't mate or anything, I didn't have babies for the first 3 or 4 months of keeping them, and at first I was starting to wonder if they were going to die off before they even started breeding, but luckily they did start breeding, and now they've been doing a decent job of doing it, so I'm happy about that. And as for the superworms, I started off with 3 beetles. Well, actually, I had bought a lot of superworms, but unfortunately, a lot of them died off because I didn't take care of them properly. But 3 of them, only out of all the superworms I got, 3 of them turned into beetles. One of those beetles died off, and now there are 2 beetles left alive. But they are breeding like crazy, and the superworms are growing like crazy, which is a good thing, because that will hopefully lead to more of them pupating, turning into more beetles, and then producing more superworms. And then, like I said, I plan on starting a culture or colony of mealworms, so those will provide good feeders for the slings, whereas the superworms and dubia roaches, and to a slight extension the hissing roaches, are good feeders. Yeah, I'm downloading a game right now. I will basically be self-sufficient in terms of feeders, and will no longer have to go to pet stores for feeders other than for, mice and rats, for my ball pythons. I also kind of want to get some more isopods and millipedes to also contribute as feeder, or not feeder, but cleaner insects, cleaner bugs for my enclosures. So I guess you could say that's the update for now. This video has been going on for far too long, and I kept saying I would stop it after a minute, and now I'm just kind of rambling on. So I'm going to stop here and hopefully trying to upload this to YouTube. Alright, see you guys then.